So, in a disgusting turn of events, a shooter shot two National Guard members in DC. This is nothing new. We have seen shooters throughout America. As per usual, there's mass shootings every single day compared to our other nations in a relatively, normal state. They don't have this much shootings. We are the outlier. So, this is sad. It's disgusting. What do we do to fix it? That's a conversation we've been having since the, I feel like, the dawn of the new age, like since the 1900s. So, what do we do? I want to talk about that, but I think what we should be talking about as well is the reaction to this, because what I saw when the shooting was happening, people immediately blaming left wing people. And just like the Charlie Kirk stuff, the minute the shooting happened, people were like, the left should shut up and they need to die and arrest them. Like, I saw prominent figures saying that this is a left winger's fault when we don't have any fucking facts about this. If anything, Trump was the guy to give this person access to the US, given that his asylum seeking process happened under his administration, which I'm not going to blame Trump. But if you want to play that stupid game where we sit here like children and blame everyone else except for ourselves, then let's do that. But it's dumb. And to also blame the violence, even though the rhetoric that's been being pushed these past few administrations has been prominently from the right. Obviously, the data showing that as well. Where there is more right-wing violence, the shooters of Trump has been revealed to be more right-leaning. The people who have done the violence, the big ones even, with the Luigi Mangione, I wouldn't call him a lefty. I would call him someone with complexity and nuance. The guy who shot Charlie Kirk, a very similar young man who seemed to come from a Republican background, but also had this nuance, complex policy. He's not just left wing, but he's also not right wing. And as an adult, I would sit here and say, well, yeah, I think it's stupid to just say it's a one side issue. I think there's complexities with people. Some people identify very conservatively and still vote Democrat. People are different. People are weird. People aren't easy to paint. Yet the outcome of this has been, let's blame the left. Even with that in mind, I'm trying to find some peace here. I'm trying to have this resolve. When you have these people being shot, it's awful, and we should focus on making sure this doesn't happen again. This guy who came here should be looked at, and I think we should look at his asylum status and how he got here and how he's able to get a gun. How did he get a gun, right? Like, do we have a gun issue, or we need to address how guns circulate in this country? You could have strict laws in Wisconsin, but then Chicago, vice versa. You have strict laws in Chicago and vice versa. Strict laws in Chicago, but you don't have it in Wisconsin. And that cross the border is nothing to most criminals. And maybe putting a stop to that, maybe having more of questions and vetting process, a universal background check. These are conversations I feel like adults should be having, and the kids in the room just say it's the immigrants, and like that's just so dismissive, so lack of understanding of how things work, and not addressing any problem we can really address, because we're already deporting people. We're already making it. Every single administration has been more strict when it comes to the taking in of immigrants. So I just feel like they don't want to address the elephant in the room, and it's that we don't address guns. We don't address the healthcare that we have in our country, which I think would greatly reduce the violence. But also, if we want to get more nuanced, and what they're doing is sort of, I think, maybe the right track. Maybe that's why we failed so much as a country to address this, is because we're not addressing the bigger elephant in the room, and it's that they are pushing for violence. When Trump goes on air and blames the left for the Charlie Kirk shooting before he had any understanding of who the shooter was, when they push for stuff like he has a trans girlfriend, the shooter of the Kirk shooting, he has a trans girlfriend, and that's destructive. When you have people like Melissa Hartman who get killed, and Trump is like, who? Like, that is violent. That is letting them know that it's okay. When you have stand by, stand down as his comment, you're letting the right know it's okay to be violent. Especially too when he said that radical rights are doing it for a good reason. You don't think that's going to fuel anything? You don't think that's going to push people to say, well, maybe my actions are justifiable because the president said so? Excluding his, acceptance of the January Sixers, who he pushed for, but say he didn't. He still pardoned them, so does it even fucking matter if he didn't? Like, he still showed it's okay to commit illegal acts because I got you if it's for me. We saw it with other people he pardoned, these violent people. We've seen it with the Epstein stuff, these violent people being protected either through his rhetoric or actual policies protecting them, actual pound for pound executive orders or bills that could help protect these people, or his sort of lack of bills or lack of executive orders where he just lets these people slide because they're his friends. That is in itself violent. To protect these people, to at the very least let it slide, is violent. To then sit here and then lecture the left and say it's the left's fault, when I've heard him say communist, socialist, and now you have people being like, well, that's true. If they are that, I'm going to kill them. Yeah, they're killing babies for fun. I'm going to kill them. Like, that's the mindset that he's pushing for. It's not that he created it. This has always been there, but he's capitalizing on this fear mongering. It's the immigrants. It's the Lake and Riley. It's the woman attacked on the bus. The left are letting this happen to you, even though this was the woman who attacked on the bus was a right-wing state, and our current immigration laws had nothing to do with this person attacking this woman. They only care because it was a white woman. It's fear mongering at its best. In reality, we should address our prison system, and this guy shouldn't have gone out. And the only people I see pushing for that, and the only conversations about that, is the left. So don't sit here and tell me that they care about the police and the army when they're not putting in the effort to protect them through the healthcare plans that they're pushing against, the gun policies that they're pushing against, like, and their rhetoric, and obviously the pardoning and the speaking into violence that he has done. It's just, I can't take these people seriously, especially when you have situations like a school in my town. Obviously, I'm from Arizona, so I'm not necessarily from Vail, but it's basically the same thing. In Vail, a school district had these shirts where it depicted like a bloody, aftermath. And to some, that would be like, are they making fun of Kirk? Because he did have a pretty similar shirt. It said freedom with a white tee and black text. But the school showed that they've had these shirts since last year, way before Charlie Kirk was killed. So the shirt is obviously not referencing Charlie Kirk, but it didn't stop people from sending death threats, from finding these people, doxing these people, even having to shut down the school and have up security. Even police forces were protecting the school because they were scared of the outcome of these people. You're telling me this is a peaceful group of people who just bite at anything like piranhas because they hate the other side so much, because the fear mongering done by other people? Like, let's be real here. They don't care. They are capitalizing on this so that we can fight each other. This is a story that should have been dead in the water immediately, but it lasted a bit, and these people are in danger because of that. But I've heard no apology. I've heard no one come out and say, I'm so sorry. I even saw Twitter accounts who were pushing for this and said, this is violence. We got to do something. And then when it came out that it wasn't what they thought, and the Charlie Kirk stuff was nowhere to be found in this shirt, they still didn't say whoopsie. They went, oh, you can understand where I was coming from, though. Like, no, you're a piece of shit, and you should take, you should accept that you fucked up. And they won't, because they don't care. They push for this violence because they don't care, and it benefits them. So this shooting, as sad as it is, as disgusting as it is, if they are going to continuously blame the other side and not accept it, and sit, in the very least, I would accept that they care if they sat down and said, maybe we can tone it down as well. But they never do. If they said, if they need to turn it down, we need to turn it down, that would be a nice, healthy meet in the middle moment. But they'll never do that because it's successful to them. They've won the election by pushing for the cats or dogs getting eaten. And then when pushed on that story, JD Vance said, yeah, it's not true, but who gives a shit? Like, that's how we show that we don't care. We like the fear mongering. It works because they won the election, and they still push it because they think they can still win with this. Don't let them win with this. Don't let them get by this. Don't ever, ever concede to any of their points anymore, because they don't care about you.